Hi guys, so in this video I'm actually just going to say how me and Daniel met. So I have actually been into Korean culture in Korea in general for about 5 years. Well, actually going on 6 years. When I first started, how I even found out about this whole Korea thing was I was a really big Jonas Brothers fan, and I wondered if other people if other countries had boy bands. So I Googled it, and the first thing that popped up was Big Bang, and I listened to it, and I just fell in love with it. I just loved K-pop. I became like an instant K-pop fan, and the Jonas Brothers posters came down, and the Korean pop idols posters went up, and so that's how that started. And then I watched Korean dramas. However, I didn't just stick to Korean dramas. I also watched Taiwanese dramas. I watched Thailand dramas and so many other dramas. Affirmation cultures. I just really loved it. I really loved but I've always been, I don't want to just say it was Asian culture that I was interested in. I've always been interested in other cultures other than my own. When I was even younger, before I even was able to get on the computers and things like that, I got really into Bollywood. So, well, India is part of Asian too. Asia, they're also considered the Asian genre. Oh wow, I guess I have always been interested in Asian cultures. Yeah, I was really into Bollywood when I was younger, and it turned into K-pop when I got older. And so I stuck with it for many years. And I mean, now that I'm actually here in Korea and I'm married to a Korean, my Korean fandom of K-pop and stuff has actually really gone down. But I mean, I still listen to it and I still watch Korean dramas. I just don't really stick to it that much. I have other hobbies that I do now. But I'm still really in love with Korea. I love the culture here, and I'm not going to be a huge Korean boo. There are some stuff I don't like about Korea, but overall I don't really have that many complaints about this country. I still love it here, and I'm kind of sad a little that I'm leaving here. But overall I love it. But back to how I met Daniel. So that's how I was really interested here. So I wanted to meet people, obviously, from Korea. So I went on the pen pal sites, and I had been messaging people on and off for a while. I have gone through many pen pals. Yes, most of them were guys. I wasn't actually looking for dating. I just wanted to talk to guys because, you know, it's always more fun to talk to the opposite sex, especially if you're attracted to that opposite sex. So that's why I always specifically looked for guys. But I was on a pen pal site, and I saw Daniel's profile picture, and I just thought he was so cute. Like, he looked like an idol to me, with those filters and things like that. He just looked so perfect. And I was like, well, he has his Kakao Talk up here, so let me message him. So I messaged him, and he messaged me, and that's just how it all started. We just really became friends, and talking with him was a lot of fun, and I don't know, I just kind of slowly started to kind of fall in love with him. He was so romantic too when we first met. Like, he was just always really, really sweet and would say sweet things to me, like, oh yes, I'm lonely, I miss you, I can't wait to meet you. Little things like that would always be so sweet, and would be like, oh yes, you were very special to me. And so my brother lives in Korea, so because he is a teacher here. And so that's how I was able to convince my parents to let me go to Korea and meet Daniel. So I went to Korea, and I stayed there in Korea for about 3 weeks. I stayed with my brother and Daniel, and I guess that's really when I started finding myself falling in love even more with Daniel. He was just such a sweet guy, and our personalities just really, really clicked. I mean, he's more of a docile person. I'm more of the crazy person. And his family really, really adored me. They said that I'd get him out of the house. He's a little gamer. In fact, that's what he's doing right now, is playing games. So I get him out of the house, and I do things with him, and I think I just kind of bring out more of a crazier side of Daniel than most people really see. And so that's what just kind of happened. I just really I loved him. I fell in love with him within those 3 weeks. I mean, that might seem really quick to people, but I had already been with him by this time when I was in Korea. I'd already been with him for 4 months. So that's how I felt like I already really knew him through those messages. And so after those 3 weeks, I had to go back to the States. Well, circumstances made me not really want to leave him. But I'm sorry, I'm thinking of a side story in my head. But I really missed him, and I really love Daniel. And after messaging and talking to him, he's all like, well, you know what? Why don't you just come back to Korea? And I was like, you mean to live? And he's like, yeah, come on back, you know? And I was like, so are we gonna get married? He's like, yeah, we're gonna marry. So our proposal story is this. He never proposed. He just assumed that we were gonna get married because, you know, you're coming here and you're gonna get married. The end. So I proposed. I was watching an actual thing on MTV, and no, not MTV, BET. I was watching something on BET, and this woman was talking about how she proposed to her husband because she felt like he was never gonna do it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna. So I messaged him this thing, and it was funny because I was working at a nursing home, and my resident, that's what we call the people that live there. We don't call them the old people in the old folks home, the residents. I was in a resident's room watching TV. I know I'm such a good worker. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna propose to my boyfriend. And she's like, you are? I was like, yeah, I am. I can do it. I'm an independent woman. I don't need a man. I can do this myself. And she's like, well, you can't just come out and propose. Let me help you. So she actually wrote my proposal. She's like, my dearly beloved. And that's exactly what I typed. So I wrote out this huge paragraph saying, will you marry me, pretty much, Daniel? And he replies to me, yes, of course. And I was like, there we go. We got a proposal. And that's when I actually made it Facebook official. So, I love that kid. So then I came to Korea, and it's been wonderful. It really, really has. And I just want to say that, like, you know, moving across the world for love can be a really scary, crazy thing. But if you feel like you really know that person through those messages, and I would say at least meet him at least once or twice before you decide to do such a drastic thing. I'm very lucky in the fact that Daniel was not a psycho, was not a bad person, and totally has a personality that clicks well with mine. I would really like to say this was more God's working than luck. I am a Christian, so like I said, I believe that God really knew what he was doing when he paired us together. But but yeah, moving here across the world is crazy. But it's been really wonderful. Like, Daniel and me are just like really good together, and I really love him. So, you know, moving across the country and doing such a crazy thing, it's not that bad. I have really enjoyed it, and honestly, I look forward to the rest of our life. I don't regret it, and I would definitely marry him again and again and again and again. I really love that kid, and, you know, some people say that if you can't speak the same language, you really can't get a deep thing of love. Well, Daniel can't speak English. His English isn't amazing. I'm gonna say that. It's not amazing. But his English is still really good. I mean, he's using English that he used 6 years ago. I mean, he's been out of school for that long. So his English is really, really well. So, and however, unlike mine, his English is really, really well. This is why his English will probably never improve, because my English sucks. I have dyslexia. So, oh my god. But, yeah, I would definitely say I would do it all over again. I'm absolutely in love with him. Gotta go. Bye.